And we are live.
Coach is here. Wait, the coach isn't here.
He's not here. He's in the thumbnail, but it's just Jay Hood and Al today, and
Crazy.
Bailey for the bonus content.
Yeah,
but
I'm just helping with the comics.
You're just helping with the comics. We do have
comments.
Coach Vic.
We'll see who's better, Coach Vic or Bailey, and then we'll have a contest to see a poll to see who wins, and then
we'll see how many. We'll watch the viewer count. Coach Vic versus Bailey. Magic Lasso. Good morning.
No Coach Vic today.
Yep. Yeah, I did send Magic Lasso an AOK a couple weeks ago, and he aired his opening of it this week, and it was great to see the look on his face. That's why I do it.
Did he do that? Like, oh.
It was just like that.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Hey, you should send me something. I'll do that. I'll be like, oh, oh my God. What is it supposed to be? See, she's Coach Bailey.
There we go.
You're Coach Bailey now.
All right, let's get this fixed up.
Fix what? What's fixed? What are we doing? What are we doing, Coach Bailey?
There you go.
Coach Bailey. There we go. You're been replaced, Vic. You're out of here. Get out of here. So how you guys been doing this week?
Dude, I've been on COVID quarantine this week.
You look like it.
I had it. It wasn't as bad as they made it out to be, but I feel very fortunate.
Well, I know you're peak human. You're peak human. You run like 30 miles a day, and you drink all your Kool-Aids, take all your vitamins, you say your prayers.
Yep. At least I do at least one of those things.
You're the hoodster. What you gonna do, brother, when the hoodster runs wild on you? You gotta do that when we leave today.
I do that.
Come on, rip your shirt off.
I do that every morning when I get out of bed. I do that whole routine right there.
Come on. Who's got to look at the chair? Look at that chair go. Yeah. Spinning Bailey. Yep. Do we get that noise? Do we got to pay for that song?
Yeah, I bet we would get copyright ding for that. Good morning, Discovery Bay.
Everybody's crazy today.
So Coach Vic was feeling, he was going to come in remote. He was feeling a little bit under the weather, so he's going to hang out in the chat. But
I seen his hookup, his dark room that he wanted to do it out of. Kind of like, are you crazy? It's like, let's just turn our lights off and just be in a camera, you know. You just see him talking. That's it. You just hear him. You might as well just do audio.
Yeah, you just see the silhouette of the back of his head. And
yeah, all backlight. Like all back, like boom. He had a halo. It was cool.
What was the bad guy in okay, you got it back. In I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah, I seen that movie. It was great.
The cartoon with the guy, the robot guy. What was his name?
Bender?
Inspector Gadget.
Oh, Claw. Yeah, you just seen his arm.
Yeah.
The cat. That's right. I think GM's good peoples.
Good morning.
Oh, it's good morning. I was wondering, you're talking GM, the business?
Man Cave. Man Cave had 84 and Big Shack were showing their top landed comics for the year last night. That's pretty cool. I got to go back and finish watching that rewind.
Oh, did they do the top comic books of the year?
Their top pickups. Their biggest books they picked up this year.
Well, I'll do that right now. My top pickups for comic book wise. Zero. Zilch. No, I got some comics this year. What did I get? Like, does Better Ray Bill come out this year?
Yep.
I got that. I'm still doing the blue and gold.
Okay.
Right? Blue and gold. That's been interesting. It's 30 years too late, but and I don't know, some other stuff. I get crazy stuff. I'm not like you regular comic book people.
Well, we are gathered here today to talk about one of our all-time favorite comic artists. I know Al, as an old school comic book guy, you're a big fan of this guy too. George Perez. Do you know that he likes the emphasis on the first syllable of his last name? The proper pronunciation is Perez.
Perez.
It just
I like that too. I go into my boss and I'm like, hey, I'd like a Perez. Well, no, is that bad? Perez.
We need to get started. Bailey has spoken. We need to get started. So
the boss, Bailey, the boss.
I've got a couple short stacks of comics to kind of run through, and we just talk about some stuff. I'm not sure. We go about it two ways. We go about it like this is the first encounter I had with George Perez books and the stuff that I kind of gravitated towards, or we could go just like back to the beginning of his career and run through kind of chronologically. What do you think, Al?
I'm thinking, I don't know what you're saying. What I'm saying, I'm thinking we just celebrate the guy, and whatever comes to our brain comes to our brain. And I know you're more orderly when it comes to this, and I'm the nutcase conspiracy theorist over here. And yeah, I got a top five. Do you even got a top five of like your top runs of George Perez? Like he's always been in the conversation for me.
Right. Could I pick it? I'm sure I could pick a top five, but it kind of depends on like, okay, what are we saying like all of his New Teen Titans counts as one or okay.
We're talking runs, bro. We're talking runs versus they can be 12 issues, 6 issues, anything.
I mean, I could.
What is your favorite bits of like because you remember they did the when they did the Baxter series for the Titans, and his run with the Raven, a Trigon came in and all that stuff. That was pretty cool.
Good.
Who is Troy? Donna Troy storyline. That was pretty tight.
Okay, so yeah, we can do it that way. So, I gotta think backwards.
Here's the thing. I love George Perez. Thank God for George Perez. But I think a lot of the number ones are going to be from, the 80s, right? The Titans is the stuff. And the Crisis, even though people are probably, the Crisis, even though he had like 80 different inkers, you can pick
2 at a time.
So let's start it this way.
Okay, go ahead. You're the boss. Oh no.
Let's see. So I have to do 2 at a time. I have to put my phone.
Let's see if I can get this there. So okay, here's like just the statement, just to set forth like what we're dealing with here. This guy was drawing both of Marvel's headline titles at the same time. So we got 30-cent Fantastic Four, 30-cent Avengers. And so he was, what other than like Jack Kirby or maybe John Byrne, what other artist out there was ever doing 2 of either Marvel or DC's headline books? You got nothing to say about it?
Huh?
So you got nothing to say about that?
Oh, sorry. I was reading some
Attacked by the Ant-Man.
Yeah. No, I just love the old stuff. I think when I look at it, I could tell he was going off Buscema or John. It really looked like they were probably making him toe the line there, right?
Yeah, I mean, this was obviously inked by
Joe Sinnott.
So they were definitely keeping kind of Perez's distinctive style into wraps to do like you said, the Marvel House style.
Yeah, I mean, even though they're doing that, I mean, they did that with J.R. Jr.
Right?
Like I look at some of his early Iron Mans. I know you don't want to bring, and they were doing that with him, it was just like, all right, draw like this. And I'm sure he picked up a lot of good habits later on. But so he was doing 2 books at once. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
I mean, even there, look at the panels. That's the one thing I always love about George Perez is he can pack a panel, packs them tight. And he does no waste of movement. There's a thing in wrestling they call it waste of movements, where you just do a bunch of stuff for no reason. I think George Perez knows not to do wasted movements.
Mm-hmm.
And look at those advertisements; those are always great too. Yeah, look at I love those things. Yeah, just how he packs even the tiniest panel. Some people complain about that. I've always applauded it.
Yeah, look at a panel like this one, where it's like every inch of the background is filled with, detail. Every building is drawn.
And also think about this. He was working at a time when it was like you had monthly. You had to put the monthly out, and you're not going to have. I mean, you have guest artists, but that was like, hey, what do we have in the bin over there? This is coming off of like doing so many books. I mean, even Dave says he drew an Avengers title and a Justice League title in the same month.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering if he did it in the same month or if they had backlogged it.
You're so right there, Highlight. Yeah. Yeah, it's just cool. But
okay, so we need Coach to ask
we need the question about St. Louis thrown in here.
Yeah, or was Black Panther on that cover? All right, go back. There he is in the background. Oh, that's horrible. Did George Perez ever draw a Black Panther comic book besides Avengers?
I doubt it.
When did he really pick? Yeah, he was picking up steam here. I mean,
this really does have like his more distinctive look. This is just 6 issues later too.
He was breaking into his own, and that's really where I know Perez from is just 80s stuff. So,
and this particular run on Avengers is when I think of the Avengers is the stuff that I grew up on. This is it. This team, the Beast was an Avenger in my mind more than an X-Man, even as an X-Men fan.
So colorful too.
See what's Gorvidal got to say. News of his illness has affected many people. I watched 2 videos from Spain this morning praising his work, a master of the craft. So true. And when I go digging in bins, if I find Avengers of this area or this era, I'm always pulling them. I mean, when like I've said it before, when I was picking out comics as a kid, it was whichever book had the most colorful heroes in it. That's what I was taking home with me. That was like my criteria. I might have had this issue when I was a kid because this is exactly what would have appealed to me.
Strong arms. I think there's an arcade thing going on. Is that a DJ?
No, that's Korvac.
Hey, it looks like he's coming out of an arcade. That's cool.
Who are they trying to sell with this thing right here?
Me, I love that thing. I have 12. Anyway, there we go. We're going through the run here. Yeah. And look at the covers. That's another thing that I think is lost today. It's not George Perez's fault or whatever, but a lot of these covers are awesome. And today you just get headshots or, people kissing on the covers.
Daddy,
of course, we had
to me when you were done.
Okay. So this is that oddball issue that everybody talks about. It's got a real odd storyline with Ms. Marvel in it. Like being impregnated and giving birth, I think, in the same issue, something like that. It's pretty crazy. One of those stories we all like to forget.
I just like to forget Miss Marvel.
Take him away.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
Shiny.
he would.
Oh,
he
you're
would,
jumping to his Heroes Return run, huh?
Yeah, I put this in there just to show like how he would come back around to stuff. This camera's going wacky. I'm not sure what the problem is. But I mean, this is years and years later after that initial run. Here you go, Vanna White.
Ooh, nice.
John Byrne cover, but again, it's going to be Joe Sinnott inks in this, I think. No, it's
Is this earlier than his Avengers run?
No, this is those were 30 centers. This is a 40 center.
Hmm.
But again, I think they're covering it up a little bit to do the Marvel style. This is my favorite run from Marvel 2-in-1. Is it the Project Pegasus storyline?
Oh, right. I have the graphic on that novel. Sorry.
Right. Good morning, Biggie Shack. Good to see you.
You got a big hand and a little hand in here. What's going on? You're a freak.
Take it.
Get out of here. Yeah, this is what I started. I started picking these up in quarter bins.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about these books. Both. Good job. The Avengers and the Justice League. Well, the Avengers they're not dollar books, but they're relatively inexpensive. But yeah, you can find these Justice Leagues in quarter bins all the time.
Do they even have quarter bins anymore? I don't think they do.
No, they're more 50-cent or dollar bins.
Yeah, or $1.
So this earlier issues, he's being covered up a little bit by John Beatty.
Yeah, you can tell it's not a
Fantastic Force.
I wonder if he was doing loose pencils there, and they were just,
That's a possibility. See, so these are 50 centers. So he was doing this around the same time as he was doing New Teen Titans.
No Teen Titans.
That's cool.
And
It's been a long time since I've flipped through some of these. But yeah, he went for a few years on Justice League. Like you're talking before about the covers. These covers are awesome.
Yeah. I always wonder about that. If they give you an idea, right? It's like, I want this on the cover. Or if they, if the artist got to, design it. I don't know. And Coach Bailey, what's your idea?
What's up?
this part looks so new.
It looks so new.
Yeah.
On the screen, this comic book looks brand new.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Not this top corner though.
Oh, okay. That one it looks a little wrinkled on screen.
I wish comics were still 60 cents.
It looked brand new.
Of course, the crossovers with the JSA. Ooh, look at that. Man.
Okay.
Corvidal says JLA versus Darkseid was beautiful. It was a great fight scene involving Supergirl, a prelude to what we'd see years later in Crisis. Yep, my run on Justice League isn't.
How do you say the Ultra Humanite? What is it? You think? Besides the floating hand, that's great.
Haley. Yeah, I think you got it right. The Ultra Humanite.
Humanite. White monkey with a giant brain.
Let me have them.
Bailey, stop.
I need them.
I need them too.
Hey, why do you need that big of a stack? I need more comics.
Oh boy.
So this was one of those big jam issues, but he did a pretty good sized chunk of it. I think he did. There's a Gil Kane, Carmine Infantino. Wow, who's this? Oh, Brian Bolin.
Wow. He was working on Camelot 3000 at the time.
Could have been. I'm not sure how the dates coincide.
I wonder how those work. I wonder if they call you up. Hey, could you do a three pager for? Is that Joe?
Yeah, it's Joe Kubert.
Telling you.
Can I have some?
You have a frog over there?
I'm gonna set. Yeah, it's Bailey. I'm gonna set that aside and look at it later.
Jamie's excited for a comic book. We'll find out later what happened.
Dave Enrique, we're all missing Coach Vic, but we shall carry on. So,
tell Coach Vic to get a good setup. I mean, I got a horrible setup too, but
well, it wasn't that he doesn't have a good setup. He just wasn't feeling well. Wasn't feeling well enough to come on screen. Shout out to Magic Lasso. Had to pull out the beginning of the Wonder Woman run that he started after Crisis.
I feel like you should just enlarge the whole, because I'm just sitting there looking at it, and I'm just like, whoa, hey, yeah.
That's all right. Color commentary. Here you go. And then I never picked up the individual issues of this.
Well, he stopped doing it halfway through.
Yeah, I've never finished reading this because I'm not a Ron Lim fan at all.
I wonder what the story is that he stopped. He just couldn't finish it, or I don't know.
That would be an interesting story to find out. Inquiring minds like mine want to know.
I like Ron Lim as well. I don't hate Ron Lim, but his style, and it was a kind of a clash, I think. Ron Lim and George Perez wasn't really the team up.
Well, I mean, at the time, who would have been a better choice? I don't know what I don't know
who they had employed at the time. Who I don't know.
This is the scene I want to see on the big screen. I want to see all the Marvel big galactic entities all gathered together for their little powwows on how they're going to take out the big bad.
Well, Gauntlet's over, so
getting ready for more.
I'll tell you, yeah, I got number one. You don't have the number one of Infinity Gauntlet?
This doesn't have anywhere.
Yeah.
This doesn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah. You got the number one. He knows. I actually have like one of the ads, giant poster ads.
Daddy,
I got it from a buddy named Chad. When he worked at a comic shop. It was pretty cool. I have it framed, but we're looking at these. We've seen this one already, haven't we?
No, I pulled it out in the pre-show. So the reason I'm starting with this is because this is the first issue I bought off the rack of the new Teen Titans, and then of course people of a certain age, collectors of a certain age, it was X-Men, and then right beside that, quality-wise, was New Teen Titans. And I don't know, this just like the X-Men hooked me. This issue of New Teen Titans hooked me, so I was on for the ride for the rest of the go.
Lily. I can't remember the first Titans book that I bought. That's sad. Stop. I think I found him in Crisis first. I think I found George Perez via Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then backtracked from there.
Dave Enrique says he didn't mesh well with Starlin's writing style, talking about Infinity Gauntlet. Perez wanted to become more creative with page layout, and Starlin wanted more straightforward layouts.
So he left. That's good. I don't know. I always thought it was because they packed the books instead of having like 12 issues, it was 6. So each issue was like thick, like overly sized. So maybe he couldn't get them done. The final, whatever. How many issues did he do for Infinite or Infinity?
I got more than halfway through that. I thought he was done with like issue 3, but it might have been issue 4. I'm not sure.
Shame.
One thing that really I think is appealing about his artwork is he does draw a pretty girl. I mean, I don't think anybody can debate that.
I can debate it.
Yeah, you can debate anything, but it's true. Girl, it's true.
Girl, it's true.
Biggest was the brother blood. I mean, look at this. This is an awesome 2-page spread.
I don't think you should be showing this because, like, it's showing how much Titans has fallen. Because this is back when they were good. Sorry. I know Coach isn't here to defend his TV show. He's like, this one, it's good. That's my coach. It's good. I like CW.
I mean, you won't get away with like holding up the girl's head by her hair these days. I mean,
yeah,
she gets the better of them, but
that's because everybody's a baby.
Yeah.
Everybody, and also I think I really liked Victor Stone better back then.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's an awesome panel right there. Look at the emotion. I
think they knew what to do with all these characters, and then because people, this is something that happens in comics when characters get over by creators that know them and love them. The characters, the writers and creators that don't know these characters, that they inherit them and like, oh, we'll do something with this guy, and then they just totally ruin them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Cyborg back then had pathos. He was
definitely,
he was something, and now he's just like, hey, look what I can do.
Yeah, he's a half robot guy, and he doesn't have any depth to him.
Yeah, back then he did. He had something. But
Dave Enrique says, let me throw this out. In 2007, I won a contest put on by Tales of Wonder and the Hero Initiative. Win a day with George Perez. I spent 11 hours and 46 minutes with George. That is awesome. Dude, do some content on that. I'd like to hear that story. If you haven't already.
11 hours with him. Who wants to spend 11 hours with anybody? But I don't know. Would you? You didn't get tired of you and like I'll get out of here, man. He had to. Oh, see. Oh, wait a minute. Coach Vic saying Victor Stone was horrible on Smallville. I will say this: as much gobbledygook as the Zack Snyder Justice League, Josh Whedon. I liked him in the movies, so I thought he was enjoyable there. Maybe a little emo, but
Well, Dave Enrique, I'd love to hear what you might have to offer as far as insight on George Perez. So,
historian.
I'll tell you what. I mean, we kind of put on pause our little search for the most influential comic book artists, but I'll tell you, one day we're going to do a bracket where we're putting George Perez and John Byrne head to head. So, Dave Enrique, if you'd like to come on that show that day and speak to the George Perez part, hey,
George Perez versus John Byrne.
Huh?
Oh wow, that's like the finals.
Hey, you got to beat the best to be the best.
Oh, yeah, you got to beat the man to be the man.
I mean, part of the appeal of the whole New Teen Titans thing, and I think issue 138 of X-Men impacted me the same way that this 4-issue miniseries of New Teen Titans affected my appeal to this title because it gave you the backstory on the characters that I wasn't familiar with. And I ate these up. These are the original copies. I need to go back, and I just realized they were really super loved. So I need to get some replacements
comic
and put
books
these in my spinner rack.
You love your comic books, Jamie.
Second Street Marvel, good to see you. But yeah, there wasn't one of these that I just didn't devour like month after month after month, long after it was done. Here you go, Vanna White.
Bailey White. There it is.
Of course, this isn't. I didn't pull the first appearance because the cover on that's kind of crappy. But notice one thing down here: George Perez autograph.
A green tiger.
Oh, the gold scribble.
Oh, your name dropping again, huh?
Yeah.
Look what I got.
So I got that. Everybody likes that. Well, Comic Kid 84 and Biggie Shack are big fan of.
That's one thing I always loved back then is that their annuals were like a payoff instead of just like, hey, we got some chump to draw these comics. No, they were payoffs to the storyline.
Yeah, in a big way.
It was like the pay-per-view, man. You build the story up, and then boom, check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, do they even do annuals anymore?
They do, but
I don't think they do.
They have the regular writers write them usually. Well, not usually, sometimes, but the artists are usually like fill-in artists, and I'm not sure how relative they are to the story that they're putting in the monthlies at the time. But yeah, these were like key moments that if you didn't read the annual, you really missed out on the payoff of whatever storyline they were doing.
And no, that's not Peacemaker, Coach. That is the Vigilante.
But the Vigilante is a character in the Peacemaker upcoming TV show, which Coach.
Yeah, I've seen that, and he's goofy. Now the Vigilante in this was very serious. So that's DC strikes again. Movie guys strike again. Like, hey, let's take the serious character. We'll make him a goon. Okay. So that's my 10 cents.
Dave Enrique says George didn't want to draw the New Teen Titans. I think I had heard that, but he kind of fell in love with them as he worked on them.
Probably had more of a chance to wiggle his stuff into it,
Well, I mean, it's starting a title from scratch versus working on Justice League or something that was more established.
I think that might have been my first. I know when we used to have a comic shop, Miami Street Comics, down here closer to me. I had the two comics. There was All Star Comics, and then there was Miami Street Comics. Normally, I would just buy my stuff from Walton Books or Han's house down here. But I think this one was the first back issue of the Titans I'd picked up, and I think yeah, it captured. Just like I love the cover. It's cool. I mean, it's a takeoff of the old Romita Spider-Man leaving his stuff in the dumpster, but
right.
This one has more wrinkles. Casey Hain would love that. He likes wrinkles. There's more wrinkles in it.
Okay, so he wanted to draw JLA. Makes sense.
And who was drawn to JLA at the time? Like
George Perez,
Richard Buckler or something?
George Perez.
Oh, so they did it. Did they do a Kirby thing on him? Hey, we'll let you do this if you draw Jimmy Olsen or something. There you go.
So the first appearance.
The classic Nightwing. Now, did he designed? He had to have designed these characters. Especially, I mean, hats off in his design for Nightwing.
I mean, for giving the collar, that the costume design itself is pretty solid still today.
Love the collar. Why do people hate Disco Nightwing?
The collar was of its time, but it wouldn't fly today. But the rest of the costume would, I think.
Is it of its time? I mean, I look at it as an extension of his Robin collar. Like he's popping the Robin collar.
I mean, they didn't do it without a reason, and it made sense. I mean, we were very We didn't have a problem with it back then.
I don't have a problem with it now. It's just it's people ashamed of what they're wearing. That's what it is. It's what's that when you, what is that saying when you're embarrassed? You see that you're nude and then you're embarrassed by your nudeness.
Gotcha.
You know, that's what it is. It's like, oh, we were fine before, but oh my goodness, do you see what I'm wearing? Oh my God, look what he's doing. It's like, why don't you worry about your ugly toenails first?
This Magic Lasso dropping some knowledge about the transition of artists in the JLA. That makes sense.
Oh wow, that
For some comments.
makes me feel horrible. Thanks a lot. Oh, and shout out R.I.P. to Michael Nesmith of the Monkees.
Oh, did he pass recently?
He passed away yesterday. Yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
I gotta wear a sock for Michael.
So to me, this is like the epitome of George Perez. His entire career was the launch of the Baxter series of the New Teen Titans. He was on top of his game. I think later on after Crisis, I think either I got tired of seeing him or his art became a little bit more formulaic for my taste. But at this point, I just could not get enough of George Perez's work on.
Just can't get enough.
Yeah.
Can't get enough.
And this title, you had to either, if you didn't have a comic shop, you had to subscribe to it. So this one was actually had to go back and find issue 1 years later. I'd subscribed too late, and this was the first one that arrived in the mail.
Now, I just want to say that by you saying that he was, that you got tired of his artwork or whatever, that's on you, bro. You can't be like, oh, he wasn't doing as good as stuff. No, that's on you. That you grew out of it.
If I pulled up work and put it side by side, I could point out what it was that I was not liking, and it might have had. I think it probably had to do mostly with he was not putting quite as much. I don't want to say he wasn't putting time or energy into it, but I don't know, care.
Maybe you don't like.
I think
Superman,
he cared more about it earlier on.
You don't like the Wonder Woman. You don't like Superman that he was working on.
Those were good. It was everything after that. The Infinity Gauntlet, I think part of the reason why I didn't get that was because I just didn't think his work was as quality as it had been before.
Wow. But Big Bombs by J Hood. So your stuff wasn't up to par for me. You better go back to do your Titans work now. How dare you?
But I love the dark, glooming vibe of this whole storyline. We knew there were stakes involved. That's the difference in comics between back in the day and now. Back then, this was a 5-issue storyline, confined to one title. Wasn't a big crossover, and you read through the whole thing, and with every chapter, you felt like the world could come to an end at any moment, and how were the Teen Titans going to come out of this thing?
Meanwhile, in Justice League, they didn't get their stuff straight.
Right.
It was just like, hey, this issue, the Maestro's here, and we beat him in one issue.
So, I think in the historical context, this was his biggest, best work, most notable work. Obviously, the Crisis of Infinite Earths that rebooted DC continuity. My camera's going wacky again.
Oh, look, what's that scribble on there? What'd you do to it?
I know. I need to keep my kids away from my comics.
All I gotta say, yeah, Crisis. I think Crisis and the Who's Who covers was what turned me on to George Perez. Remember those? You don't have any of those, do you?
I didn't pull them out because they're wraparounds, so I'd have to and again, just like the Marvel Universe covers, they all connect from one to the next.
Are they?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure they do.
There's
Anyway.
people floating.
It's been a long time.
It was like, all right. I mean, you got to see him do almost everybody for certain issues of who's who, you know.
Yeah, so I didn't pull out the whole run, but I just pulled out the keys that I had.
The keys
boarded individually. But I
yeah,
mean,
the big guns.
Yep. So that's what I got. So that's what I pulled. That I mean, I totally blanked on the JLA Marvel crossover.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I liked it. I just forgot to pull it.
Oh. If you liked it, you would have pulled it.
So we started out by saying what would be the top 5
runs. I mean, you don't have to do specific. You can say this is my favorite book of his, but you can, George Perez was best when he was doing a run on a the fact that I think we're I mean, I know it's in the moment, but that Rushmore, the Mount Rushmore, Perez has got to at least be on a shoulder somewhere. That guy has hit all the keys. I mean, he makes it. People want to be Perez. People steal Perez's stuff all the time. His influence on the comic book industry is going to be felt, thank goodness, well into the future. So,
for sure.
And then he's going to be found again. That's another thing. He might slip. You might it's more of a Jim. This guy right now. But someone's going to find him again, and that's it's going to skyrocket again. That's the great thing. It's like a vinyl record.
I mean, when I say that, there's certain works of his later in his career that I didn't appreciate as much as his other stuff. This, like you said, that's no knock on him. That's just me now coming back to it and looking at it and seeing what I missed before, because it was more of probably a fatigue on my part. But
what was the name of his self-titled or his self-owned book? Like Crimson
Flood or something like that. He did that.
That's
he did Sax and Violence.
Yeah,
Epic.
So what I'm saying, this guy was everywhere, So I think personally, it's hard to see your heroes, like, okay, we know where this is going, type of thing. It's great to hear the love and the affection pouring out for him. I don't think it was ever in question that people loved him and it really to us it also like goes, oh wait a minute, this isn't supposed to happen. He's supposed to draw forever, draw forever, but he has drawn forever, and he's going to keep drawing, and we'll always have everything. We'll always have Perez, and I thank him for that.
Oh.
Thank you, George Perez.
And for my part, I mean, there's still, like I said, there are books that I've got holes in my collection that eventually I'd like to fill and have all of his whole JLA run, all of his Avengers work. I'm in a spot right now where like the stuff that really hits me in the feels when I go and dig in boxes and find something is not like it. There aren't any huge key books that I want to go out and get. I want to find the John Byrne and George Perez run fillers. Those in like I said, having as many characters involved as possible. The Avengers stuff is probably the stuff that's biggest on my hit list right now, just to go out and try and find. One of the big disappointments with me having COVID this week is that we've got a small convention happening tomorrow that I'll have to miss. So
Yes, it.
Magic Lasso says, do you think Phil Jimenez doesn't get the recognition because his art is so Perez light? In my viewpoint, yes. But so I didn't like Phil Jimenez's work because it was so reminiscent of Perez that I thought he was like a knockoff. But if I see other well done knockoffs of an Adam Hughes, I don't hold it that kind of grudge against him. So that's just kind of bad judgment on my part. When I think through like what would be considered like a knockoff artist or somebody aping someone else's style, more than me saying, okay, you're pulling the tricks from someone else that has taught you, or you're imitating someone. Nowadays, I see it more of George Perez was only able to do so much work. And if someone else comes along and does something similar to his, it's not a bad thing. It's just more work that looks kind of like that. So, I mean, yeah, sure. There are poor knockoffs, which, I've probably got a bigger problem with. But I'm very interested in seeing Phil Jimenez's work on his new Wonder Woman book that he's put out with Kelly Sue DeConnick. I haven't been able to get to the comic shop since that's been out, but that looks pretty amazing. So I'm looking to see how his art style has evolved from being a Perez light style artist to kind of growing into his own thing. Gordon Vidal says the death of Barry Allen and Kara at the time were deeply affecting. Yes, Marv wrote it, but it's George's pencils that crystallized the images in my mind. I can't disagree. That was definitely a key moment in comic book history at the time. It was a huge deal. Marvel 2-in-1 Project Pegasus had a great comparison between Perez and Byrne. Yeah, they butted right up against each other, and they also kind of tag teamed on the Avengers during that whole period. If an issue wasn't drawn by George, it was drawn by John. It's kind of two of the best artists at the time going back to back on the same title.
Well, real quick on the Phil Jimenez thing. Earlier you showed some George Perez that looked like John Buscema. Okay, so he was learning from John. So Phil is learned from, but you know what I'm saying. So eventually he's going to get his own stuff. I mean, he still had his own style, even though he was a Perez light guy. I think the more the merrier. I mean, if you can get a guy that comes in and he's just a George Perez knockoff, I'd dig it. Right. I like this. Well, it's like, to me, it's like Elvis. Like, I want to hear Elvis sing versions of classic songs, and I would be willing to pay a guy that could do Elvis impersonation. But you're just getting the Elvis impersonator doing what he thinks Elvis would sound like, not like what Elvis would actually do with the song. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there you go. I don't know why I brought that up. This just popped up.
I think it's worth mentioning at least.
How many tailors do you have?
So that wraps up our kind of look back at George Perez. I mean, historic artist. Love his stuff. Some of the best, fondest memories of my collecting. And the fact that we're talking about him because he's terminally ill is saddening. But George, thanks, man. So,
and on that note, what?
So we'll change the topic, and I'll just do it on the fly. You been watching anything good on TV or anything?
Oh, well, it's hard to. We just left November, right? And November is my JFK conspiracy month, and I just go completely ape for everything. I'm like, oh, what happened? What was this? And I'm trying to wean myself off of them because I went too deep. And now
you learn things you can't unknow.
No, it's like I'm trying to stop watching stuff on it. I'm really trying to. I'm trying to focus on different things now because I'm still going. No, this is the truth, and that was, So I gotta do that. I gotta watch wise. I can't tell you stuff. I watch a lot of stuff, and just a lot of it sticks or not.
Yeah.
It's awkward to say that because I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff I've watched. I know I want to see that wolf movie where the guy thinks he's a wolf, but he's just the guy that thinks he's a wolf.
Okay.
It's called Wolf. and it's not with Jack Nicholson. It looks crazy, and I like the crazy bonkers type stuff. We watched Eternals this month, right? We've seen that.
That was in November, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it was last month. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. It still drags with me. I'm looking forward to the Spider-Man, of course. I think that's next week.
Okay, so Coach Vic and I have been debating. Have they shown too much as far as the trailers?
Oh, they did. Oh, but come on. They haven't, but they have. Like, I just turned on YouTube when I woke up, and it was like the beginning of the movie. You know, like, watch this. I don't.
Watch the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, like, I don't want to know anymore.
Quiet, guys.
I don't want to see anymore. That's also on us to not watch that stuff. You know.
Right. Well, it is hard to like work your way around it.
Hawkeye. That's what I've been watching. I've been watching Hawkeye, and remember when I said that Jeremy Renner was a horrible choice?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's changed. If they would have done stuff like this with him in the beginning, I think I would have been cool with him. But still, if Sam Rockwell was doing the stuff he's doing, I would still love it even more. I'm a Sam Rockwell as Hawkeye guy. They should have got him. The back and forth with him and Robert Downey Jr. would have been epic. Of course, my Sam Rockwell thing and Hawkeye thing is all if they wouldn't have wasted Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, hey, let's get Hot Boy, what's his name? You know, he was the Whiplash guy.
Yeah.
They wasted that. The villain should have been Black Widow and Hawkeye in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would have made sense.
Yeah, it would have been perfect. And then, you know, Nick Fury's all like, hey, you're cool. Let's get, you know. Anyway, who was the Black Widow girl?
This is hilarious.
Al been watching the Sex and the City reboot.
Oh, I haven't. Because I never watched the first one. Never watched Sex and the City.
My wife was a big fan, but we don't have HBO Max, so she hasn't been watching the reboot. Dave Enrique says, with all this Perez recognition happening now, I would say that George has never taken a bad picture. Great smile and personality. I mean, obviously, I've had a chance to meet him a few times, and yeah, he was always a joy.
I hope. Oh, wait. In Texas every day is. Oh, so you live in Texas, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyed the power of the dog, Kristen Dunst. Oh, yeah. I heard that Cumberbatch and Kristen didn't talk at all while they were filming that movie. It was probably so he didn't give away Spider-Man spoilers. That's what it was. It's like, you're Mary Jane. I'm Dr. Strange.
Who is the Black?
To go back to the George Perez question or remark, I'm wondering if I hope he got residuals for every time they used his pictures. You know, I'm sure he didn't, but you know what I mean. Like, how many posters have we seen? You know, everybody gets a thank you. But these artists and these creators should be getting more for their impact.
I'm sure he's getting something on the Titans TV show. He has to.
I would not want anything on that. I'd be like, no, don't thank me for this. This is nothing like. This is not it. Get out of my face with that.
Coach Vic, you need to go back and watch the Black Widow movie.
He didn't watch Black Widow movie?
Apparently not.
There you go. Who's that? That's Coach needs to be here so he can just break in the middle of it. You know, just in the middle of it, just say, "Who's that blonde girl?" Okay. It's Black Widow.
I've seen the previews for this movie, and it's one I intend to get around to watching at some point.
Okay, thanks for Dave here for clearing up. He says that DC has treated him well. That's good. I'm happy. I'm glad. They should be paid. I mean, I don't think that a lot of artists and creators have like a good retirement.
Yeah,
I think.
And he's always
paid for it. There's no pension.
Yeah, and he's always been one that's been a big supporter and proponent of the Hero Initiative,
Yeah.
where a lot of times these days, if artists or writers at a show are doing autographs, they ask for a little bit of money in the tip jar, and that goes to the Hero Initiative, which benefits guys that are struggling.
Yeah. There needs to be. I know they're independent contractors, so then that's just another term for hey, we can really screw you. But it needs to be. I think it needs. They're for DC Marvel. I mean, it's so small now. I guess comic books are such a small thing. But
Guys, be quiet, please.
They need to do some type of SAG or something,
Yeah.
so they can be taken care of through sickness and in health, because it is a marriage. Because you're marrying the comic book. We're gonna see George Perez's art long past. I'm gonna be 80 if I live that long, and I'm gonna be like, oh, George Perez,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in the middle of
I don't like
taking a comic out of my mouth because I'm a weirdo. George Perez tastes good.
seriously.
Supergirl, that's what I'm going to do. Eventually, comics will never mind. Anyways, who is Oprah interviewing in the back corner?
These
I've
dogs cost
no idea what you're talking about.
$100 separately.
Anyway,
Bailey, quiet, please. So I've been watching.
Gave you the almond look.
I've been watching Hawkeye. Watched the first couple episodes of the new Lost in Space season, which
No.
I've watched.
I gave them 2 seasons, and it's just so crybaby. I'm sick of. When did dudes and everybody start crying so much? Every movie now, everybody's crying. I just say you don't understand me. That's what we're gonna start doing. Pop culture clobbering time is now just be like we're gonna cry all the time. I cried. My dad never loved me. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, Will Robinson.
I'll be honest, I don't remember any crying. I'm not saying it's not there. I don't remember it.
You kidding me? All the time. Everybody cries in every movie now. Every I'm sure Batman's gonna cry in the new movie. He's gonna be like, I'm Vincent, as he just physically destroys human beings.
1000s.
We wonder why people are weird. Like, let's go watch that Batman movie where he's just destroying people's heads. Like, oh, I'm a normal person. I love that stuff. We wonder why, the world's crazy or America's crazy or whatever.
So have you watched the Cowboy Bebop adaptation?
I watched it. Here's the thing. I never watched the cartoons all the way through. I would catch 1 or 2. So if they say it's garbage, they're the fans. They can say it's garbage because I'm a fan of the Titans. I'm a fan of comic books. And if I see, a TV show, I don't think that's not right. Then you got to take my word for it. I'm taking their word on Cowboy Bebop. But I like the actors. I like because I've never really paid attention.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much of an anime guy. I didn't hate it. But I like the old 66 Batman show. You know what I mean? And it's kind of kitschy. It's kind of like, I mean, John Cho, dude, in that, he's cool. I could watch a movie of him. All the guys, I think all of them did a great job. It's just, don't put your peanut butter in my peanut butter.
Right. So I am a fan of the anime. I've watched. I don't know if I've watched all of it, but I watched most of it.
Right.
Going in when I first saw the first previews of it, I was like, nah, this is not going to work. But after actually watching it, it's not bad, and I think if you acknowledge the fact that it's based on a cartoon and it is stylized and not supposed to be like super realistic like every other TV show out there, it's cartoony. Even as a live action show, it's a bit cartoony.
I think it's a lot like Sin City. What we got with Sin City, unfortunately, Spirit. But that's what it had. But it was more of the cartoon side. It was more like the
Yeah.
I just like John Cho. So we skipped over Hawkeye. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to mention. Was just talking about Hawkeye. What was your thought? Have you watched Hawkeye?
I have. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I see, a few people out there bashing it as like, it's all the political stuff that's being read into it, and I don't see it at all. But yeah,
because we're not
like
maniacs. Well, I'm a maniac, but it's.
I think I read that first Matt Fraction trade, and I've got the other issues in trade paperback and haven't read it. But I mean, it's got that feel, but it doesn't like usual. It doesn't match, so it's not that big a deal. But I'm enjoying it. I don't have a problem with it.
It did do the thing I hated about X-Men, where it was like, besides they're wearing black leather. Put on your black leather. Sorry. It did the whole like, oh, you want me to wear that? I hate that. I can't stand that at all. I can't. Man, there's something, I'm telling you, I had something before we talked about Cowboy Bebop. Man, I'm going to remember it later. Like, oh, I wanted to rant about this. It's just a huge rant I wanted to get into. Let's see. Gore says, I must have lived. Oh, yeah, you must live until you're 80. I still need to send you an invoice for that. I didn't make you buy anything. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Okay? Don't put that on me. That didn't put you. I mean, that Phantom figure, I don't know what Phantom figure you're talking about. If it's the NECA one, I bought that. I didn't tell anybody to buy.
I know.
If you're talking like X-Men, talk about the 90s X-Men cartoon. I can't speak to that because I've not seriously watched any of that.
They're going to have bad abs. They're going to have like a 10-pack of abs. Hey, Bob, I'm Wolverine. What are you doing? It's like, okay. Well, I remember that because I was coming off that was high school for me. After I was out of high school, but like when X-Men #1 came out and it was on the back cover, had the toys and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get these toys, and I'm in high school. I shouldn't be having toys, right? And I was so disappointed by all those things, and then the X-Men cartoon. Okay, I mean, at least it's just like the Spider-Man cartoon. It used a lot of the comic book, so it didn't. It was just like making a stew. After you're like, oh, I got this ham, I'm only use this much, the rest of them I'm make a stew out of it. You use all the bits, you know what I mean? You're a butcher, you use all the bits. That's what they did with X-Men. I think it's exciting that they're gonna continue it with the artwork because like there's been so many reboots of anything. There's like, oh, this is like this. We're doing a continuation of this.
Like the He-Man stuff.
Anything like it. Instant point, the new Matrix movie. Who made this movie? It looks nothing like the old. Not that I want to see the rave continue from 2 and 3. Like that bomb so huge. But this looks like Keanu Reeves is going to take his kids in a minivan. This is minivan Matrix. Okay, it looks so clean. There's no like green tint to it. There's no grime. It's all like it's prequel-ish type stuff, just like, well, hey, remember all that cool stuff you thought was gonna happen? No, we're gonna sit in this room in the Senate hearing, and who asked for a new Matrix movie? I think Keanu Reeves going, I need to make me new. Hey, I know what I was gonna talk about. The Masters of the Universe Revelations cartoon. You probably didn't watch it. You don't care about He-Man.
No, but I want to hear your response to it because I know you're a big fan.
Okay, remember the first half of it when everybody was, oh, Tila, she's turning Tila, oh my god. And I was saying like, Well, when the first trailers, I was kind of like, I don't know. But then I seen it. I was like, no, I liked it. I liked the first half. We'll see where it goes.
Right.
Second half, just to the wall, man. Just like they bring in Savage He-Man. He's just Hulk, man, and he's not friendly Hulk. He's wanting to kill everything, and it's cool. It's just good. And they turn, spoiler alert, they turn Tila into the new sorceress, which I told everybody this is what they're doing. They're not turning her into He-Man. They're turning her into sorceress. But people are crazy. They're just nuts. And they don't give things a chance to breathe anymore. I mean, I've been, accused of this, which is true. But things I like, I give it a good one. I give it at least an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I really dug it. They did kill a couple characters that were just like, why did you kill these guys? Because they kill, spoiler alert. Okay. They kill Fisto and Champ, not Tramp. And one thing about, Fisto, whatever. He's just a ginger, whatever, But Clamp Champ is the only, male black character, right? What are you doing? What are you? Oh, we have a bunch of white folks running around here. Oh, we got the new man at arms is black female. But Clam Tramp didn't have any. He did not have any chance, man. Like, I'm dead. See you later. He was 2000s Masters Universe made both of those dudes awesome. Okay. Go back to that one if you want to watch some cool characters. But this one just we're zombies, we're devils, we're dead, dude. And I don't know if this. I mean, I know Cowboy Bebop got canceled. I don't know if Revelations is going to get canceled. Hopefully it doesn't. I'd like to see more, and hopefully they bring them back. I think it was kind of like yeah, we had to edit that out because we only had so much time. I don't know, but. Hopefully, when they made Tila the new sorceress, it wasn't just like, hey, we got this cool idea, but we don't know what we're going to do afterwards. And it's like wrestling, when you're like, hey, we'll put the belt on this guy. And then you're like, all right, what are you going to do with him now? And it's like, we don't have any guys for him to face. That's what happens. And then, his title run is garbage. I'd hate to see Tila's title run as sorceress just be garbage. And that's what you got to think of. Are you giving this person this responsibility as a popping moment? This will pop the crowd. Or are you giving it because it'll pop the crowd and you'll be able to pop them later with the same guy? Is he a one pop stop or is he an all pop all the time? I don't know. I'll have to see. So I'm looking forward. So I give Revelations 8 out of 10, I think. As a whole, you can't go on. It's got great anime. It's got some funky stuff. What'd you do that for? But you're gonna have that in everything. And I would have actually liked to see them do it in Filmation style, like they're doing in '97 X-Men.
Right.
There's so many cartoons I'd like to see them do that with, specifically G.I. Joe. I know the new comic book G.I. Joes are coming out with the continuation.
Go.
The continuation of the G.I. Joe cartoon is going to be in a comic book form. It already looks like, no, this doesn't look like a continuation of it. I'd like to see animation from Sunbow, dust Sunbow off, and just, same animation, I think that'd be fun. Of course, I'm a G.I. Joe guy, too. Toy guy. Anyways.
All right. What you got?
Hey,
Leech
is a Masters Universe guy. I didn't even know they sold these guys. I went to FYE. I went to the mall and they had it. But yeah, Bailey multiplied. Yeah. I went down to the Kokomo toy store, bought a bunch of sodas. Those little canned sodas. I think I actually already owned them, but I bought. I don't know. I need to.
You need a
list everything I have. I need to
the CLZ app for your soda pops. You need the CLZ app for your soda pops.
What's CLZ?
That's the database a lot of people use for
Oh.
recording their comic book collection.
Yeah, I need that for my sodas and my Funko Pops because I keep buying. I bought these Funko Pez dispensers, and I think I already bought them. I already had them. If that's the case, I'll just give them out as party gifts. Anyways.
Yeah, C2E2 is this weekend.
You going?
I'm not going.
You think how many people actually are?
There's some
sick.
people from the YouTube community that have gone, but there's not the big, huge meetups that we've had in the past.
Yeah.
I think everybody's looking forward to next year.
Why? What's happening next year?
Well, the suspicion is that everybody's going to be healthier. It's going to be easier to meet and travel and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, everybody be used
and
to
it's and it's not 3 weeks before Christmas and that kind of thing. People have money to spend.
No.
All right, I think we'll wrap this one up. We've had a good discussion on George Perez and some of the stuff we've been consuming on the boob tube.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody that's joined us live this morning. Dave Enrique, Coach Vic, Gore Vidal, Magic Lasso still hanging out with us. This would be a perfect time to get books graded. It sure would if Geek Aficionado would send me my stuff.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, we will sign off. Remind you, keep your priorities straight. Faith, family, comic books. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, George Perez. We love you.